Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Paris Joint Powers Authority, and Paris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris this Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 at 6:36 p.m. Madam Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Vallejo,
Here.
Councilmember Nava,
Present.
Councilmember Corona,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Rapp,
Here.
Mayor Vargas.
Present, thank you. Item 3 is our invocation, which will be led by Pastor Terry L. Wells from the First Baptist Church of Paris. And if you'd all please stand and join us, remain standing after the invocation for item 4, which is our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilwoman Vallejo.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you right now, this evening, inviting the very presence of your Holy Spirit at this council meeting. We ask that you will guide our thoughts, our words, our actions this evening. May every decision be made here tonight reflect your peace, your love, your joy, your gentleness, like in your meekness and long-suffering, and the faith in the people. Father, we lift up the city leaders right now, Mayor Vargas, all council members, and all those that serve in positions, Heavenly Father, of authority. Endow each and every one of them with your strength and courage to lead with integrity and fairness. May they be the instruments of your peace and your love, working tirelessly for the common good of flourishing of this community. We also would like for each and every one of us to always remember those in the city who are in need, those that are marginalized, those that are hurting and loaning and oppressed. May this city continue to be a beacon of hope and of light that embodies your love and the character traits of your Son. Father, as we reach out to those that with open hands and open hearts, that we'll be able to meet their needs through each resident and all of these policies. As we conduct this meeting tonight, let us remind of the words of Dr. Manuel Scott Sr., who once said, "The measure of a man is not how many servants he has, but how many men he serves." May we be inspired to serve our community selflessly and with love. Lord, we commit this meeting into your hands. Have your way and guide each and every one. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me in saluting our nation's flag. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
One nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Item 5 is a report on closed session items. Attorney Soltani.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1 to confer with legal counsel regarding 3 pending litigations. No reportable action was taken. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4 to discuss potential litigation in one matter. No reportable action was taken. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 regarding several real property negotiations. APNs listed on the agenda. No reportable action was taken. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Item 6 is presentations, presentations and announcements. 6A is an update on the Mayor's Alliance to End Childhood Hunger. This is being given by our Director of Public Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm here to present progress updates on the Mayor's Alliance to End Childhood Hunger initiative. In background, the Mayor's Alliance to End Childhood Hunger was launched in 2022 to cultivate the individual and collective leadership of mayors to end childhood hunger in communities nationwide. The Mayor's Alliance to End Childhood Hunger is a nonpartisan coalition working in partnership with Share Our Strengths, No Kid Hungry campaign to ensure that every child has the healthy food they need to thrive. The Mayor and Public Services staff has been actively involved in ongoing efforts by participating in the Mayor's Alliance Working Group, implementing the White House Challenge to End Hunger and Build Healthy Communities, attend quarterly membership meetings, added GIS layers to the City of Paris maps located on the city's website, where the public is able to identify community gardens, food pantries, groceries, Women, Infant, Children, or WIC office. We've also developed and implemented new programming, and the mayor presented progress updates on this initiative at the annual coalition meeting in Washington, D.C. In May of 2024, we established a task force comprised of representatives from the development community, school districts, county, and public health care agencies. We invited the representatives to attend a meeting to discuss gaps and barriers in access to food for children. Following this meeting, we facilitated a survey to collect data from school districts, county, food pantries, and public health care agencies. The data collected identified dates that meals were not provided to students during the summer and winter breaks. The gap period in the summer are the weeks of July 28th and the week of August 4th. So we will be following up with the school districts in the late fall to determine the gap period during the winter break. The gathered data also provided or showed that up to 426,000 school meals are distributed on a monthly basis at all school sites in Paris, and up to 15,000 students are participating in a summer meal program in Paris. The programs that we've developed and implemented thus far are Fueling Fun at special events, where kids received a free meal voucher ticket at the annual City Health Fair event that took place this past April. Seed to Success School Challenge, what we will be implementing this fall, whereas school gardens located throughout Paris will compete to see who grows the most produce for their students. The winning school garden wins a monetary prize where the school can purchase materials and supplies towards the support of their garden. Lastly, Pack a Smile food giveaway, which we will implement this summer, where kids are going to be provided with backpacks with non-perishable snacks and food during the summer meal gap. The Pack a Smile event will take place on July 30th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on City Hall campus. Students ages 18 and under with the school ID will be provided backpacks with non-perishable snacks and food. The city will be partnering with the Concerned Family for the food distribution and with True Care for the sponsorship of backpacks. We do have here present with us today Pastor Lincoln Cooper from the Concerned Family, who's here to show his support on this initiative. Public staff will be sharing event details on city's social media and also request sponsorship for additional food items and backpacks needed, as well as gift cards to provide to families. And this concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. Council, may have any questions, comments? Is your iPad working? Is your little tablet working? Great. All right, thank you very much. This has been definitely an adventure, council, and being able to address in Washington, D.C. was a big deal. Got a lot of good comments and feedback from my fellow mayors throughout the United States, for that matter. Thankful for True Care and families, our Pastor Lincoln, for participating in this project, especially for the backpack deal. That has nothing to do with our normal backpack giveaway. This is something completely separate, so this is going to be truly inspiring this year to get that initiative going. So thank you, staff, for all your work. All right, that takes us to item 7, which is our Youth Advisory Committee communications. This report will be given by Melanie Lopez, our Vice President.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, and city staff. My name is Melanie Lopez, and I am honored to serve as the Vice President of the Youth Advisory Committee, YAC. To start, our next YAC meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 17th at 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at Council Chambers. Next, we are thrilled to announce our next Movies in the Park series on Friday, June 20th at Frank Eaton Memorial Park. We will be watching Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The movie will begin at dusk and popcorn will be provided for the community. We are looking forward to contributing to the event's success. Lastly, we want to update the City Council about the YC application process. We have 44 applications, and staff will begin the interview section of this process next week. As always, YC encourages everyone to stay safe and connected. Be sure to follow us on social media at Paris YAC for updates and information about all our upcoming events. Thank you for your time and continued support. We appreciate your partnership in making our community a better place.
Thank you, Melanie. Item 8 is our public comment. This is the time when any member of the public may bring a matter to attention of the mayor or the city council that is within our jurisdiction and not on the agenda. We will allow for 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Rosalinda Rivas.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Rosalinda Rivas. I serve proudly for the Board of Directors with the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce. Happy to be here. Hi, everybody, and I want to welcome, I'm going to say everyone that's part of the community being here today. So anyways, thank you, Mayor, council members, Paris community for being here and allowing me to speak. I'm calling just to give a couple of updates of what's coming up in the month of June. It's kind of exciting. I know we're in transition of the end of the year, fiscal year, but there's still things going on in our city. The chamber is opening up or having on Tuesday, June 11th, between 9:30 and 11, a coffee and connectors. Here's a great opportunity at our chamber offers to have what's called Investing is for Everyone. It's a business educational empowerment series, basically to grow the community network, grow business practices, and help the community members that are new into entrepreneurship business practices to get some financial insight. And that's a free event, so come join us. The second one is Lunch with Friends. That's going to be the following week on Thursday, June 19th from 12 to 1. It's going to be at the Mariscos La Tambora, which is at 802 Navajo Boulevard. It's casual networking, it's lunch, it's a great way to build relationship and support, and there's great food and wonderful conversations, and the more of us that show up, the more insights we can share with our business partners there as well. The next event is on a grand opening with the new Starbucks. I happen to love Starbucks, so I'm a little biased here. The store number is 82223, and that one is at 3939 Ramona Expressway in Corona, California. Come join us so that you can meet the team in Starbucks and the Paris community, and we can give them a great big welcome. That's going to be on Tuesday, June 24th at 10 a.m. And another thing is kind of our call to action. And so I'm going to say, keep your phone lines open, pay attention to the emails. We're going to be reaching out. What we're going to do at the chamber is a listening tour. We are here to kind of get some insights. So our interim CEO, Violeta Aguilar, and our president of the chamber, Jerry Sepulveda, they're going to be reaching out to key stakeholders, educational partners, elected officials, and other business partners to gain some insight, to get feedback, find out how we can be more impactful at the chamber so that we can provide new ideas and be, I'm going to say, more productive with the needs of the community and be in alignment with all of you. And with that, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to speak today. So on behalf of the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to speak and to share this. And I hope to see you all there, or some of you there, as well as the community. So come join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all.
Thank you. Okay, item 9 is approval of minutes. 9A, consideration to approve the minutes of the regular joint meeting held on May 27, 2025, for the City Council, successor agency to the redevelopment agency, and all the other entities as listed on our agenda. Council, if there's no comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve. And I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Rabb. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is our consent calendar. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or city council may remove a consent calendar item for a separate action. We will have public comment limited to 3 minutes. Council, does anybody have any requests?
Yes, I have, would like to poll item 10F. Actually, not really poll it, but just have a comment regarding 10F.
Okay,
If we can,
well, we're going to pull it for a comment,
okay.
right?
Yes, pull it for comment.
Anybody else? Okay, Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak on this item?
No, sir.
Very good. Then I'm looking for a motion on 10A through T, excluding F as in Frank. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rab. Please call the vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, on item F.
Yes, it's just for a comment. Item F is for approve a contract for traffic calming measures. Traffic calming is restriping various streets throughout the city to help reduce the flow of traffic. And I was really happy to see this on here, and really happy to show that it included A Street. I've received a lot of complaints from residents regarding A Street and just the traffic striping. And I talked with staff regarding the striping, and one of the areas I had a real large concern is if when you're going down A Street north, this is going north about 2 blocks up from Pinacati Middle School. I believe this is Redbud, or it's a street that goes into a housing tract. And if you see, the street is extremely wide. When they built the track back in the 80s, there was no median. The curb curves in, so cars are going down A and they're just turning down that street. So that poses a risk for pedestrians. And I spoke to our traffic engineer, just wanted to confirm that as part of the restriping, we're going to be restriping this and putting a crosswalk right here and moving this limit line back. Because I actually took this photo, I think it was about 6:45 yesterday when I went on a run. So we're going to be moving that back and putting a striping right there for the...
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Mayor Pro Tem Rapp, that is correct. This is at Red Maple, I believe. And
Yes.
yeah, there's going to be ADA handicap ramps as well as pedestrian crossing at this particular intersection.
Okay. I just want to thank staff for their due diligence on this. There'll be several other sections throughout the city. Since we have all the various people who are involved in the city in various capacities, I just want to impress upon everyone as we move forward in approving various projects that we really factor in pedestrian access. As you can see, this is just a wide street. It's basically a death lane. If you're going down here, someone makes a turn at 40 miles per hour, you're basically, especially given how big these cars are nowadays. So maybe we consider moving the curves in a little bit, even if it has to slow down the vehicles, just to protect our residents. And in terms of adding crosswalks and ensuring that we are really a pedestrian-friendly city. So thank you, I appreciate that. And with that, I'll move a motion to approve this item.
Okay, you want to click on your... We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem. Well, first of all, is there any other comments? No. Was there any public comment on this one item?
No, sir.
All right, so I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Rab, second by Councilman Corona. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 11 is public hearings. 11A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving the placement of CR&R solid waste delinquent balances on the Riverside County property tax roll. This will be introduced by Director of Finance, Mr. Matthew Schenk.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Yes, tonight we have Barbara Jimenez. She's a Senior Sustainability Manager from CR&R. Just a little bit of background, the city has a contract, an agreement with CR&R that when accounts become delinquent, the trash charges are placed annually on the year's property tax bill, and this is a process that helps keep the costs down for collections. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. Again, my name is Barbara Jimenez, and I'm here available to answer anybody's questions or concerns regarding the tax roll.
I like that brief. That's so good. Welcome back, Barbara. I can't imagine it's been that quick of a time already. All right. Council, does any of you have any questions for Barbara?
Quick question.
Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Rab.
Yes, I asked this last year, just want to reiterate. If someone satisfies the delinquency between now and the next reading, will they be removed from the next reading of this item?
Yes, correct. So they have until July 20th to get removed from the tax roll.
Okay, thank you.
And Councilman Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. I know you come here and you know with the same issues and some residents obviously have the same issues and it seems like most of them they're renting a house and the people aren't paying their trash, so of course they tend to get a bill. Are we seeing a decrease in that or Are more people becoming informed of what's happening?
Unfortunately, no. So last year, it was a little bit over $1 million in tax roll, and this year, it's right over $1 million again. We do always stress to have like the owners to actually put the tax, to put the trash services in the rent, but some owners just don't want to do it, and unfortunately, the renters are not paying the bill, and it goes, onto the tax roll.
Okay. And if they want to get more information, who should they contact?
They can email, I'll leave my cards here, but we have a senior tax collector, Rosario de la Cruz, and she's the one who handles all the tax roll for the city of Paris. They can call customer service and reach out to her. And then anybody basically in sustainability can also assist with that. So myself, my team, Parisa Jabali, she can help as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It may be difficult to attain that number, but do you happen to know out of those delinquencies, how many of those are renters?
I would say a majority. I don't have the definitive amount, but it is a majority for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
I'm going to open up the public hearing at 6:57. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Alfredo Gomez?
Did you say Alfredo Gomez?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Alfredo Gomez, and the reason I'm here is because I've been billed from CRNR, a bill. They are sending me a bill. I don't know them anything. I bought this property, and they are sending me this bill from the previous owner. And I called them, and I cannot get any answers. They say I have to pay. And the principle is, it's just a little money, but the principle is, I think it's wrong for them to charge me for something not in use. And I guess this is the only way really I can get through them. But if I have to pay, there is no problem. It's just, I think it's wrong. And I need some answers. And I want to always do the right thing. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez, and tonight you have Barbara here who will be able to help you out.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Anybody else?
Angelica Perez?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Can you bring the microphone down closer to you?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I was just, I'm delinquent on the CRNR just because we were going through a financial hardship. So during that time, job loss and hours, it was less hours of work. So I just wanted to let them know if there's anything they could do on their end, or if they could extend, like, instead of just having to pay $535 all next month, maybe if they could either extend it or do payments.
Okay, you'll be able to talk to Barbara here as well.
Oh, okay, then.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. How many requests do you have to speak?
That is all.
Okay. Is there anybody else? All right, come on. Come on up, please, one at a time. State your name. So we're gonna, if everybody can wait till we're all done, and then we'll let you guys go outside and talk to Barbara, okay? Because she's gonna want to hear from everybody. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening. So the reason that I'm here is for
Can
the
you
same.
state your name, please?
Oh, sorry. My name is Violet Ortega, so I'm here for the same reason for CRNR. I was renting my property. I did call CRNR before before the tenants left to get information, but they told me it was confidential. So I finally received a notice saying that the tenants that left left the charge on the property. So now I'm also getting billed for that amount.
All right. You'll be able to talk to
Thank
Barbara,
you.
sure. Come on up, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, first of all, we were late coming in because, they closed the Ramon Expressway for some kind of accident there. But,
Can you state your name, please, sir?
but anyway, I'm Antonio Chua, and it's all about CRNR as well. I have a rental property located at 3825 Bella Torre, and it was under a property manager. And I have a new tenant now that for some reason she received a notice through the address saying that, this notice about I owe CRNR over $400 because the renter didn't pay since 2021. Okay, so the notice says that it's being tacked on to my property bill, and I've been a big proponent of personal responsibility. I've served in the United States Navy for 30 years. I know duty and responsibility very well. If it was my responsibility, I don't mind. But I didn't get the benefit of the service of, CRNR at all. I think the contract was based on the renter and CRNR. If CRNR has a record that the account was under my name, then I don't mind paying. All right, but since there was not even a notice, I was told by CRNR last time I called them that they said they sent a notice the previous years, but if they don't send it to my address in Beaumont, I won't even know. Even my property manager wasn't aware. So if the renter was just disregarding the notice at all, then how would I know how to respond? And CRNR was telling me it's my personal responsibility because I'm the property owner, which I don't see the sense if I wasn't made aware of it in the first place. And at the same time, I didn't even get the benefit of the service that CRNR was providing. I was under the impression at one point, some years back, that if the renter or the property owner is not paying the bill, they would cancel the service, they will take the trash bins, but apparently that's not the way it is now. So, I'm just seeking some relief on this one because I think I might have already paid some, tack on to my property bill or.
Thank you, Mr. Chua. Your time's up. But please talk with Barbara, okay, before you leave. Come on up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Genaro Agredano. I used to live at 60 Top Circle. And the reason I'm here is same problem with this company. You try to talk to them, they put you on hold, and that's it. You never get in touch with them. My problem is 60 Top Circle had a fire like 3 years ago. The house had been empty, so nobody is being generating trash. And they still been charging me. I pay the last 2 years on my taxes because I tried to contact them and for no avail. They just put you on hold and that's it. So I wanna let you guys know what's going on. If they see that the house is empty, they should take the trash bins. They should collect them, and nobody's using them. At least nobody lives there. That's all I want to talk to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Make sure to talk to Barbara. You have to set up an office, Barbara.
Good evening, Mayor and everyone. My name is Janice Randall. I've listened to everyone's talking about CRNR. I had a rental property as well. First time I ever rented a property. I live in Beaumont, I lived in Beaumont, and I got a bill from CR&R for $503 from my tenants. They moved out, and they also did damage to the property. We had an $18,000 property damage from them. They didn't leave a forwarding address. The same thing, I don't have a problem paying, but I just don't think it's right for the owners to be billed for this when the tenants are responsible when they put this in their name and they have an account. So we paying on somebody else's account. So when they move somewhere else, the same thing is happening. You know what I mean? They're not paying this bill, so it's the responsibility of the owners. I know I have to talk to Barbara, so I'm gonna talk to Barbara, but I'm just saying, I know it's just, maybe they can come up with something else. Because if they open up an account in their name with an account number that's not connected to us, why are we responsible for paying? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janice, for coming down to express those concerns. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:06. Council, any more further discussion or comments? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion.
I have a comment.
Councilman Rab, or Mayor Pro Tem Rab?
Yes, CR&R, I have a question for Ms. Barbara. If a landlord owns a property and say the bill is in a tenant's name, is there a way, because I know several of the commenters mentioned that they called CR&R and they weren't able to get that information because it's confidential, but shouldn't they be allowed that information as if they're the listed owner or maybe an agent of a LLC?
They should be the listed owner, so I've never heard before that it's been confidential and that we wouldn't provide that. Again, we always reiterate to make sure that the homeowners do put the trash bill in their name so that the trash can come to them, and this way they're aware. We always mention that, but sometimes people, like especially if they're a new renter, they don't know that this is a possibility, but that's basically what we always stress to them. But we will give that information. On the account, we have the name of the occupant and the name of the person that's getting billed. So that's where we would put the owner of the property. So I'm not sure what's happened here, but we'll get this resolved, these 6 customers that came in.
And regarding the contact, I know several of the speakers mentioned they had a difficult time contacting CR&R. What number should they call? Because I know I've called a few times and I've managed to get through, but just say is it the Costa Mesa office or is it the 943 Paris over on Getz Road office?
Yeah, no, it's the 800 number that goes to our corporate offices, and then they would just ask for the department, then they get transferred. It's the 800 number.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't see anybody else in the queue. So we pretty much talk about this every year, and I just want to reiterate the property address. So there's a couple of folks that don't live here. Where are they allowed to put their address so you know the actual owner of the property?
Yes, so there's 2 address locations on each account. It shows the actual physical occupant and then whoever owns it. So
Okay.
they would put it there if it was, but sometimes renters do call in, they say they're the owner.
Oh.
So, yeah, in that situation, we wouldn't know.
So I frequently meet with the Vice President, Alex. I'd like to meet with him again. I mean, we got to come up with some alternatives here to we should be having less tax roll, not going up.
I agree.
And maybe we need to send out a leaflet or a notice or something, especially addressing the property owners that you don't live here, that you really should contemplate putting the bill or charging the cost of the trash service into your rent,
Yes.
and making sure your home address is on there, because how are they going to contact you or reach you
Right.
if you're not listed on there? So, but I know it's in reference to squatters. I mean, anybody can just walk into a vacant house, call up electricity, and get electricity and water running, and call for trash service. I mean, it's really crazy. The one gentleman has a house that was burnt down. Where are you? With the fire. So the fire, the house is not livable? Yeah, so you don't have to get up. That's fine. So in cases like that, though, just so everybody knows, I'm hoping the audience, not just here, but our listeners on social media and TV or cable, whatever they watch on, it's very important. One of the key elements here is when your tenant moves out, you need, and no one comes back in, you need to call CR&R and say, stop the service.
Correct.
And I know some of you here say, well, we can't get through. Are we still having a hotline number on the city side, or it gets referred to CRNR now? Because all the calls went down. All right, I don't want to keep back, I mean, I need you to go talk to these folks, but
Okay.
I will follow up with Alex, and we got to work out some plans here.
Okay. I'm on the next agenda item too, so I'll stay
Oh,
until.
okay. Hang on, Barb, I think we may have a question for you.
Okay, so going back to the question that from the gentleman with the house that's currently uninhabitable. I currently live in my house, obviously. I can't just cancel my service, can I?
No, in Riverside County, trash service is mandatory, so they can't cancel service. However, if the house is burned down or if it's empty, they would have to let us know and we would remove the carts. What happens is they don't tell us, the carts are there, somebody moves in, they start putting their carts out on trash day.
Okay. But if an individual cannot get a hold of you guys, I mean, like for multiple people, they said that they couldn't get a hold of you guys.
I'm sorry, I don't understand how, I mean, we have the 800 number, it's manned, you know.
Okay. Now I know we used to have somebody in our city. Have we seen people, or are people still calling in our city, or do we forward them, or?
If I may, Councilman Corona, we no longer have a person directly in the city, but we still have, assistance we can provide and a number that we give out. So, and we have contact information from CRNR that we do copy them, send them the email, say, hey, we received this phone number. So we do actively assist in whatever way we can.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay, and I think it was already mentioned before, but I think the best thing to do is to see what we could do for the future. It's not an easy thing, but for the homeowners end, I would definitely try to tack it on to include in the rent.
Right.
So everything's in your name. Obviously the renters are going to pay the electricity and the water and stuff like that, but the trash will come from the homeowner. But thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay.
All right, Council, I'm looking for a motion on the resolution. A motion by Councilman Corona, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rab. Please call the vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving an updated fire protection facilities development impact fee, nexus study, and fee schedule. This will be introduced by our Assistant City Manager, Ernie Reyna. Microphone, please. Microphone.
It's on. Can you hear me? I'm not close enough, sorry. Thank you again. Okay, so this item is being brought before the council for a couple of reasons. Mainly because the particular fire development impact fee has not been reviewed and increased since 2006. And so the city's been looking at that as well as other development impact fees. But this one here is strictly just for fire development impact fees. And so staff is meeting regularly with internally as well as with Chief Scoville Fire. And briefing the Public Safety Committee as well in terms of where we stand with these particular fees. And so staff did contract with Wildan Financial Services. And so I'm going to introduce now Carlos Villarreal, who has a presentation he put forward together for us. He's going to go over those rates and how we derive to where we're at now. So, Carlos.
Great. Thank you. Carlos Villarreal with Wildan Financial Services. I will give you an overview of impact fees just so we're all talking about the same thing. I will then go through some of the methodologies that we use to calculate the fees for your update. We will then compare the maximum justified fees to some of the fees that some of your neighbors are charging to give that regional context. And then finally, I'll present the staff recommended fee schedules. So again, a little bit of Impact Fee 101 so that we're all on the same page. Impact fees are a one-time charge, typically charged at the building permit stage to new development projects. They are imposed on all projects within a defined area. In this case, the fee schedule is imposed citywide, so it's one fee that's charged for the entire city. And the key to our analysis is that we need to demonstrate that the fees will fund the facilities that are needed to serve new development. So they can be used to pay for fire stations and trucks and apparatus, but you can't pay for ongoing maintenance or ongoing salaries and benefits. In California, it's the Mitigation Fee Act that lays out how a jurisdiction would calculate and implement impact fees. The Mitigation Fee Act has several key findings that our study needs to make. We need to demonstrate that new development creates the need for facilities, that new development will benefit from the use of the fee revenue, and that the fees are roughly proportional to new development's share of facility costs. We also need to document the purpose of the fee and how the city intends to use the fee revenue. In this case, we're talking about fire facilities, and the city plans to build a new fire station and outfit that station. Here's our basic methodology. We start by estimating existing development and future growth. We think about people as creating demand for fire facilities. It's people that will generate those calls for service. We can then identify facility standards, and I'll discuss facility standards a little bit more in a subsequent slide, but it's essentially a measure of demand for facilities. Using those standards, but also any other facility planning that the city has already done, we can then identify the facility needs to serve the city, and then we can allocate a share of those needs to accommodate growth. In the case where the fees won't fully fund the facilities, we would then identify other funding needed to pay to fully fund the facilities, and then finally we calculate the fee schedule by allocating the cost per unit of development. We wanted to note that the city reached out to the Building Industry Association and NAOP to let them know that we were doing the study and that we were having a hearing tonight. They also received a copy of the study, I believe. So I mentioned demand for fire facilities. This slide here lays out our estimates of demand in the base year and our planning horizon of 2045. The 2045 projection is consistent with the SCAG projections for your city. As you can see there, there's going to be quite a bit of projected growth with almost 42,000 new residents and about 1,500 new workers in the city. And consequently, those folks will generate the calls for service from your fire folks. So the city needs to anticipate that demand and have facilities in order to meet that demand. I should also note that we weight the workers for a different level of demands. The idea is that someone that works in the city doesn't generate calls at the same rate that someone who lives in the city does. So we use some data from the Riverside County study that we worked on recently to weight worker demand independently of residents. In terms of planned facilities, the big planned facility that the city is contemplating is a new South Paris station valued at about $15 million. This is driving the fee calculation. And also you see there listed, there's various equipment that's needed to outfit that station. So total, we are allocating about $15.1 million worth of new fire facilities through this impact fee. We use what we call a system plan facility standard. The idea is that both the existing facilities and the future planned facilities are going to serve the city out to 2045. So the way we calculate the fee, we take the replacement cost of your existing facilities, we add the cost of the future facilities, and that total system, which is why we call this the system plan approach, the total system value at the planning horizon is then divided by your the people that will be served at the planning horizon. So your service population in 2045, we divide one figure by the other, and that gives us our cost per capita, and that drives the fee calculation. We can set the fee so that everyone pays $287 per person, and that will ensure that everyone is paid proportionally into the system of fire facilities. Now, when we use this approach, we can charge new development at this higher level of service than currently exists, but we need to fund existing development share of that higher level of service through any funding source other than the impact fees. The results of the fee, in terms of the fee schedule, is we take the cost per capita from the prior slide, we multiply it by an estimate of residents per dwelling unit or employees per 1,000 square feet of space. That gives us our base fee. We add 1% for fee program administration that covers the city's costs of collecting the fee and any legal costs related to the program. That gives us our total fee. And then one change at the state is that the state now wants residential fees to be calculated per square foot instead of a flat fee per unit. So currently the city charges a flat fee per single family and a flat fee per multifamily unit. In this update, we're calculating a fee per square foot. So to do that, we just take the total fee that you see calculated on the screen and divide it by the average square footage of a home in your city. And the result is a maximum justified fee of 50 cents per square foot for residential space, 43 cents per square foot for commercial, 65 cents per square foot for office, and 23 cents per square foot for industrial. Now, staff wanted to give some context to the fees because we have justified a maximum amount, that may not be an amount that the city wants to implement. So staff collected fees calculated by a variety of regional neighbors. You can see in these tables, these are the fees for multifamily development. A lot of cities still charge the fees per unit, so we list the fees per unit, but we can also make some assumptions and translate those into a fee per square foot. And as cities update their fees, everyone will eventually be charging fees per square foot. So you can see there for single family, the average of the neighboring jurisdictions is coming out at 37 cents a square foot, whereas our maximum justified fee is 50 cents per square foot. For multifamily, the math is a little bit different, and the average and the maximum justified fee are exactly the same. And then in terms of the non-residential fees, the averages across the board are all slightly higher than the maximum justified fees. So our study, based on our study, you can't charge more than the maximum justified amount. So the fees, that we calculated are reasonable compared to your neighbors. And then finally, I wanted to end with the staff recommended fee schedule. You can see that in the first column there, you have the maximum justified amount. Staff is recommending for single family to charge the average of what the neighboring jurisdictions are charging, and that's the 37 cents a square foot as opposed to the 50 cents per square foot. And this is to be more competitive and to be able to attract that type of development. For all of the other land use categories, multifamily and all the non-residential, staff is recommending the fees be charged at the maximum justified rate. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you all might have for me.
Thank you, Carlos. Council, any quick questions or comments before I open up the public hearing? Okay, we're going to open the public hearing at 7:22. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody wish to speak on this item? Okay, you're going to close the public hearing at 7:22. Council, any questions, comments,
Brief comment.
motion? Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Rab?
Yes, I'd just like to thank staff for not recommending the full amount for single-family use. I know we could charge up to 50 cents per unit, but I think 37 is about right in line with a lot of the other cities, and I think it allows us not to place a burden on a lot of the people looking for homes in the area. So I'd like to thank them for that.
There are no other questions. I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rab. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 12 is business items. 12A is Planning Commission appointments. This will be introduced by Director of Development Services, Mr. Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. At the end of June, we have 3 commissioners whose term will expire. So with that, staff and the City Clerk's office advertised the Planning Commission position. We have 8 recipients, and at this time, we're asking the council to provide direction and nominate 3 commissioners to fulfill the position that will start July 1st.
Thank you. Madam, are all 8 here present?
I believe they're here. They were informed. Maybe you can just call their name, and if they're here, they'll come up.
Do like a roll call there, if you will. Raise your hand when your name is called, please.
Alejandro Marin Alcantar, Demetrius Campbell, Andres Garcia, Isaac Lopez, Jillian Menez, Donna Segura, Tamika Simmons.
That's 7 in my fingers. I thought there was 8. You have Elizabeth Jimenez out there in the audience.
Elizabeth Jimenez, sorry.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Some of you know how we do this. We're going to, basically, in the order that she just called the names, I'm going to allow you guys 2 minutes each to provide comments to the council as to why we should choose you to be a member of our planning commission. I will allow for questions from the city council at the conclusion of your 2 minutes. Then we'll call the next person up and keep going through till we're all done with the 8. Then we will, city clerk will pass out a ballot to all of us. We're going to mark our 3 choices of who we want. We will have our city clerk, city attorney tally the ballot, and the top 3 persons with the most votes will be selected to participate as our planning commissioners. If there's a tie, we'll have to go back and vote again. But once we do have a distinctive 3, then I will make my recommendation of appointment for the three, the council will ratify, and then it becomes valid. Fair enough? All right. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's start with the first person.
Alejandro Marin Alcantar.
Hello? Okay. You can hear me, right? Good evening, Council and Honorable Mayor. My name is Alejandro Marin, and I would love to be a planning commissioner for the city of Paris. I'm a proud, lifelong Paris resident. I'm excited to be presented this opportunity today. My passion towards urban planning has driven me to learn and understand our local development code, to recognize what a great city needs to make its residents happy and fulfilled. I was elected a member for the Beautification Committee by this very council last year, and it's been very insightful. While on the committee, there's been a wide range of projects and needs that community members are seeking to improve. Not only has this been insightful, it's been a great learning process on how local government works, but it has increased my passion in seeing how Paris can look like and will look like in the future. The future of Paris starts with mixed-use development, and I believe Paris should take full advantage of our current landscape and approve and encourage developments that complement these features. Here are a few more things I believe will set me up to be a great planning commissioner. I'm a member of the California Native Plant Society, and I advocate to plant more Paris native plants in all types of landscaping projects in the city. I'm a member of the Strong Towns organization, and I started our own Strong Towns chapter here called Strong Towns Paris. You guys can follow us on Instagram. We're close to 100 followers. I only get around town mostly on foot, bike, and public transportation, which allows me to have a unique experience of the city. It makes me appreciate the little things the city does to make the city a lot better.
Great. Thank you, Marin. All right, council, any questions for Alejandro? You come back to the podium, please. So you will have no issues making it on time to, Planning Commission meets generally twice a month versus our beautification is what, every other month?
Yes, sir. No, I would not. I got cut off a little early. I did want to mention I bought a home in downtown Paris, 2nd Street, so I'm only 5 minutes away walking, so I won't miss it.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next.
Demetrius R. Campbell.
Hello, council and citizens of Paris. I'll give a quick rundown. I mean, I was here, I think, a year or two ago. But for me, my experience, I spent 13 years with the Public Defender's Office in Riverside County, and I retired from there. And when I left there, I started a production company. So I've spent the last 4 years as a documentary filmmaker. My thing is, I've been in the city since probably 2004. So I've seen it grow a lot. I've seen the population grow. I've seen the community grow, retail grow. For me, my reason why I'm here is because I want to continue to see the city grow as much as possible. I think there's many ways that the city can continue to grow, mainly bringing in more businesses. One of the things I like about Paris as a business owner is that it seems to be small business friendly. There's a lot of small businesses here as opposed to some of the other towns close by. I also think that the city of Paris should be able to really utilize this downtown, the historic downtown area. You have places like Temecula Old Town and even places in Orange County where they've really taken their old town and brought it up to par for people to come visit. And I think the city has enough history in order to be able to utilize the Old Town section of Paris. Other than that, I would like to see more family restaurants in the town. I think that's something that's missing. We have a lot of fast food places, and we continue to get those. But from what my understanding is, and from where I live, there's a lot of families here. And most of those families like to go out and have dinner with their family, entertainment. And right now, that's one of the things that the city of Paris is missing a lot. So if I'm selected for that, I will push for more of that to be included.
Thank you, sir. Council, may I have any questions for Demetrius? All right, thank you. Next.
Andres L. Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor Vargas, City Council members, city residents, and fellow residents of the City of Paris. My name is Andres Garcia. I am interested in serving on the City of Paris Planning Commission. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of introducing myself to everyone tonight. I have lived in the City of Paris my entire life. I am 37 years old and currently work for the Valverde Unified School District. I am married and I have one beautiful daughter who just finished 5th grade. I am an instructional aide for severely handicapped children and have been working in the field of education for 15 years, all with Valverde Unified. Many people would say that I have great interpersonal skills because I love building relationships with many people throughout my community. I am a great team player and I love working with people. I am a volunteer coach in the City of Paris, both as a baseball coach for Paris Pony Baseball and a soccer coach for Paris AYSO. I also volunteer as a referee for Paris AYSO. I have a passion for helping others as I am a firm believer in inclusion. Working in special education with children motivates me so much. I graduated from Cal State San Bernardino in 2010 with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology with a concentration in pedagogy and adapted physical education. Soon after, I started working for the Valverde Unified School District. I am currently the Valverde CSEA Chapter 567 Union Treasurer. I take this job very serious, and I am also a union steward with a great understanding in reading contracts and policies. I applied to be on the City of Paris Planning Commission because I have a strong desire and willingness to serve my community. I would like to be appointed for the City of Paris Planning Commission because I am passionate about responsible, inclusive, and forward-thinking city development. I believe thoughtful planning plays a vital role in shaping not only how a city grows, but also how well it serves its residents. With my background in education and working at a school, I will bring both.
Thank you, Andres. Any questions for Andres and the council? All right, thank you, sir.
Elizabeth Jimenez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. My name is Elizabeth Jimenez. I typed it up. I have been a planning commissioner for the City of Paris for the last 6 years. Super proud to have been appointed 6 years ago and having done this through the pandemic, distance, doing them all on Zoom. So all those challenges that we have overcome as a city. In those 6 years, I have also served as an ad hoc committee member, so I have met with developers beforehand, and, you know, when they choose to meet with us and kind of get a feel. And in doing so, I represent not only our city, but also the rest of the planning commissioners, because we have a really well laid out team, so we know what everybody's gonna ask for. So in doing so, I'm representing them. I listen to the city council members, so I know, to the meeting, so I know what the expectations are here as well. I also am a proud parent of 2 girls. One of them is now at UCSD. She was raised here in the city, went to the schools here in our city. The second one is still a student in our district. I am a district employee. I am a teacher on special assignment, so I support all sites, every single one of our TK to 12 sites I work with. So I work with families, I work with the staff members, and you know, you get a different viewpoint. Staff members that only come in for the day, they have different needs than somebody who's here day and night during the weekend. So I feel like I've had a really strong feel of what's needed. As well as in working with students, I know what the future is gonna need. I am able to, very strategic in knowing how to plan ahead. I think more than anything, I'm proud to be here. I would like to see the continuation of the amazing things that we have done. We've provided feedback for the theater I have been part of amazing things within our city, field trips, and doing a lot of research, going to our trainings, and just being a part of everything.
Thank you. Council, anybody have questions? Thank you, Elizabeth.
Isaac Lopez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. I just want to. My name is Isaac Lopez. I just want to start off by saying how blessed and honored I have been to been serving on a planning commission for the past 4 years. I've been a proud resident of Paris since 2008. I graduated from Val Verde's Rancho Verde High School, and I'm currently furthering my education at MSJC. Honestly, these past 4 years on the planning commission has been a movie. During my time on the commission, I have reviewed and voted on everything from conditional use permits, specific plan amendments, development plan reviews, and even zone changes. I'm also currently sitting on the ad hoc committee, where I get to collaborate and talk to developers about their project and really push out the vision of the city's vision, and of course the always keeping the residents' needs in mind. Me and my colleagues have worked very, very hard to keep the standards of the new development to the highest standards possible. So I ask for you guys reappointment today, and I'm hoping that the next 4 years, if I do get reappointed, I could use the experience that I've learned, and I could take it with integrity, take it with a willingness to learn, and of course, keeping the cities and the resident front and center of my decisions. Thank you. I'm willing to answer any questions.
Thank you, Isaac. Council, anybody have any questions? Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Jillian D. Menes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jillian Menez, and I have had the honor to serve as interim planning commissioner for these past couple of months here in the city of Paris. I, too, am a lifelong resident of the city, graduate of Paris High School, and I care deeply about the future of Paris. In my short time here on the commission, I've worked hard to make sure that our community's voices are heard and reflected in planning decisions that have come across our desks. I've successfully communicated our residents' priorities while aligning them with Paris's economic development goals, and I've always done my best to try to strike a balance between progress and equity. As an ecologist, I bring a science-based perspective to planning. I understand that our land use decisions are not just affecting our economic health, but also our environmental health and our long-term resilience to issues such as climate change. My knowledge in CEQA and land use laws allows me the perspective to advocate for thoughtful and sustainable development. And it would be an honor to continue to serve on this commission that working with city staff, you can tangibly feel how much everybody believes in and helps to guide responsible development in this community and development that we deserve. So thank you. And again, I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Jillian. Council, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, just a brief question.
Councilman Corona?
So I know you got appointed a few months ago. So in that short time, that you know, and at the same time, you've been very involved in the city, coming to planning commission meetings as a resident. How have your views and experiences changed being on the planning commission versus being a very involved and concerned resident?
In my tenure as a concerned resident, definitely I was up here shaking fists a lot more, but being behind the podium, I definitely see how, you know, like I said, here, we need to strike a balance between economic progress and equity, and I do believe that Paris is headed in a wonderful direction. I think our development standards are going through the roof, and I think that it's possible to balance those both. So I think morally, I mean, I haven't changed much in those few months, but I do understand that the balance is a fragile one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Donna L. Segura.
Good evening. My name is Donna Segura. I'm honored to be here this evening. Thank you for the consideration. My family and I have proudly called Paris our home for over 20 years. I've raised 3 children. 2 of them have gone all the way through kindergarten through high school with the Valverde School District. My youngest will be starting at Orange Vista in the fall. With my older 2, I've followed them through middle school and high school with their band endeavors. If you're familiar with Rancho Verde and their band program, it takes a lot of time and energy. I did that for nearly a decade, stepped away from that 2 years ago. Been looking for something new to put my energy into. Let's see, professionally, I've been working for over 2 decades. I'm in public finance and land use consulting, helping other governments and cities with their infrastructure planning and development plans. So I understand that planning, decisions made at the planning level really shape a long-term character and functionality of the city. I guess in my personal life, I always thought all my career is kind of useless knowledge, but this seemed like a good opportunity to take my 25 years of helping other cities grow, to use my experience to help my own city to grow and flourish. Let's see. Yep, so my goal really for serving on the Planning Commission is just to bring that perspective to the table and to help balance growth and sustainability and to maintain the unique identity of Paris. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman, any questions? Can you expound on your knowledge or experience with land use that you mentioned?
Yeah, so I'm a consultant, so I don't actually work with cities, but I assist cities with really with coming up with financing for helping to build new infrastructure, support their schools, support maintenance of their landscapes and medians. So part of that is understanding the development planning, the needs, familiar with all the mapping, how it goes into zoning and general plans.
Great, thank you. Your finger's on the microphone.
Yeah. Are you able to share how many or which cities you've worked with, you've consulted for?
Yeah, I haven't actually worked with the city of Paris, but with other neighboring cities. I've done work with, I'm doing a lot of more up north, it seems like lately. But I have worked with San Bernardino County and Riverside County in the past.
All right, thank you, Donna.
Tamika Simmons.
Good evening, Mayor Vargas and council members. My name is Tamika Simmons. I am interested in becoming a planning commissioner because I'm deeply invested in the city of Paris. My family's lived here over 60 years now, and I believe in its potential. The community focus here is amazing, and I have a desire to serve in this thriving community. My experience includes being a member of the American Planning Association Board, vice director of one of the committees there. I have also been a planner for the last 8 years. For the last, 9 years now, just turned 9 years. And I have experience with assisting with developing communities. I have an understanding of planning, and I believe that serving as a planning commissioner would allow me to grow as a community leader. I also serve here in the city of Paris on the committee, beautification committee. Also, just as a planning commissioner, my vision is to see more sustainable development, equitable housing, economic development, community engagement, and city services and infrastructure growth. And that's about it that I have. My time is running up. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you, Tamika. Council, questions, anybody? So you are a planner for the County of LA?
County of Los Angeles. I've been a planner for County of San Bernardino and City of Commerce.
Very good. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is all.
Okay. All right, if there are no other questions by the council, we will go ahead and have the city clerk pass out the ballots. You are checking off 3 of the top 3 voters that you, or persons that you like.
So the 3 top vote getters are Elizabeth Jimenez, Isaac Lopez, and Jillian Menes. The votes for Elizabeth Jimenez were by Councilwoman Nava, Councilman Corona, and Councilwoman Vallejo. The votes for Isaac Lopez were by Mayor Vargas, by Mayor Pro Tem Rapp, by Councilwoman Nava, Councilman Corona, and the votes for Jillian Menes were by Mayor Pro Tem Rapp, Councilwoman Nava, Councilman Corona, and Councilwoman Vallejo.
All right, thank you very much. So my appointments are going to be Jimenez, Lopez, and Menes. I'm looking for a motion to approve that. I have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rabb. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Congratulations to the three winners. 12B, consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, amending the rubbish collection charges pursuant to agreement with CR&R. And this will be introduced by the Assistant City Manager, Mr. Ernie Reyna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. So recently, the City Council adopted a Proposition 218, a hearing to allow for the increase of rates for the next 5 years for refuse. What we have before you today are an increase for this coming up fiscal year for 25-26 on behalf of CR&R. Their increase is composed of two elements, which includes a pass-through amount percentage that the county charges them that comes through to residents at 2.88%, as well as the CPI increase of 3.3% for a total of 6.18% increase on the refuse that they charge here. So I'm going to bring back Ms. Barbara Jimenez from CR&R, and she's going to talk more about it, answer any questions you may have with respect to this item, but here's Barbara.
Good evening. So Ernie did a great job. He said exactly everything I was going to say. So if anybody has any questions?
Thank you for being so brief, Barbara. All right, council questions?
Question.
Please use the cue, guys, instead of calling out your names. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Rabb?
Yes, quick question. I know I've brought this up in the past. Is there any way that the city of Paris, I've seen other cities where CR&R provides the smaller bins. Is there any way we can be provided with the smaller, cheaper? I think they're the 60-gallon bins compared to the 100-gallon bins. Because I
The
think-
90-gallon?
Yeah, the 90-gallon.
Yeah, that's decided between when the negotiations of the contracts. So, I mean, if that's something that we want to change, we can address that the next time, but that's what was agreed upon.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the increases, and I know you guys have foregone going forward with the increase. I'm just thinking about it. You know, I just turned 39 a few weeks ago. I'm thinking about retirement 25 years from now, and I'm thinking, with everything going up and people living by themselves, because I live by myself, I don't really fill out the black bin. I know my stepmother, she lives by herself. She doesn't fill out the black bin. There are a lot of people that live by themselves or two people. There's no way they're going to fill up that bin. Sometimes I'll do projects at my house just to fill up the bin, make sure I'm getting my money's worth. So I really think for people that live all by themselves, or people that are two people households or even three people households, that we really need to go forward with the smaller bin, especially for like a lot of those people that live in the condos. If you live in a condo, you're not going to be using that big green bin because you have no yard to. So I think that's something, if I'm going to be voting on it, I think that's something we really need to move forward on. You have a lot of boomers, a lot of Gen Xers now that are retiring. They don't have kids in the house. And I think with everything going up, everybody's getting nickel and dimed. I think it's something we really need to impress and move forward on.
I will definitely bring that up.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
more than welcome to come to my house with your bin and help me with my chores.
$25 I'll bring it
Yeah.
down.
So before I move on, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm already in talks with Vice President Alex Brockovich about that, as well as a senior discount. I'm bringing that back. Okay, Councilman Corona.
Yes. With the staff report, I never saw anything about how it compares to other cities with this increase. Are we going to be in line with other cities? Are we paying more, paying less?
It varies, but you're very competitive. They're all pretty much within a few dollars of each
Are
other.
there cities paying less than us?
There are some, depending on the franchise fees. It just, everything has to come into place
Okay.
on what the actual monthly
Do
rate
those
is.
cities have a CR&R facility where the trucks are using the roads and?
So you're talking about the cities here in Riverside
Yeah,
County?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So
the-
they
the
all,
area.
all of our cities here in Riverside County all go to the AD, yes.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
I think the question is, the ones in Riverside County
Mhm.
and the surrounding area,
Mhm.
are they paying less than we are?
Oh, no. I thought, no. They're all around the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Around the same, are they paying less?
Some are, maybe some are
even-
less and some are more. Again, it depends on the franchise fees of
Okay.
every city. Every city's different, but they're all very competitive. They're around the same rate.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Councilwoman Nava.
Thank you, Mayor. This was a question I brought up in the past and not sure where CR&R stands on it, but there are basically three components that basically make up the extra charges. So that's number one, service fees, two, county disposal fees, and three, the franchise fees. Franchise fees, sorry about that. And so one of the things that I questioned in the past, especially with the street sweeper breaking down, there was I wouldn't say a long time, but there was a while where streets weren't getting swept. And we have received a street sweeper that's one of the oldest, I believe, that compared to our surrounding cities. So not only were we missing street sweeping, but we also had a really old truck doing the work. And just recently, CRNR had street sweeping on the same day, and this was due to the holiday. So, I understand those unique situations, but there was a time where our trash cans were out and street sweeping was being done. So that just leads me to question how good of a job was was done at that point. So that's just always been my question, that with anything, right? If one is not delivering, there should be consequences, or there should be a way to be able to identify, we need to reconsider, at least for that component, any type of fee increase. So do you happen to have an update or any type of feedback on that? I know I gave you an earful, but just wanted to
No, that's fine. Thank you for the question. It's a good one. So, the last few years, after COVID and during COVID, I know everybody here knows that we did struggle with service regarding drivers, staffing, trucks, as far as the parts coming in. That's finally getting better. We did not do a CPI increase for the city of Paris for the last 4 years, so that was kind of our way to help compensate that. As far as the new street sweeping trucks, we still are getting some, and the city of Paris is slotted out to get one of those. So I appreciate, I know that the city's been very patient. We're doing our best to get back to where we want to be, but it's still in motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so moving forward, if there is a way, I'm not sure where in the contract we would have to look at that, but I definitely want that to be subjective as we make these increases, because I think for us to commit to something and not know where we stand at that point, and I understand COVID, and I also remember that workers weren't able to work and fulfill their jobs, so we're very mindful of that. But again, Memorial Day was just a few weeks ago, and we continue to run into these services. So I just know at any point, even anyone can get called out for not delivering what they're expected to do. So I just wanted to make sure that we're able to have that. And so yeah, this is just something that I would really want to see moving forward. I'm not sure if there's anything that we could do today to make sure we take some action on that.
It's not on the agenda to take action, but you can address it to staff to come back with something.
Yes, if I may, as part of the, if we were to discuss the contract again and some of the other items that were brought up tonight, this can certainly be brought up and then brought back at that time.
Anybody else? I had a question and I lost it when I jumped in on this one. Well, Barbara, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll try to get finished through this so our citizens, our neighbors can talk to you. All right. I haven't even opened up the public hearing, did I? Let me open the public hearing at 7:59. Madam Clerk, are there requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody wanting to speak at this time? I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:59. Council, any more deliberation? If not, I'm looking for a motion. A motion by Councilman Corona, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rab. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Great, thank you. I knew that the question, it's not not a question, but Madam City Manager, if you can chat with Alex Brekovich and get an update on the fleet and where we're at with our new ones, and bring it back to the council. All right, thank you, and Barb, please step out and help our residents. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry you had to wait. We should have probably put those two hearings together. I didn't realize they were spaced. I was wondering why Barbara was still sitting out there. Yeah. Okay, our next two items, we're going to merge them together, 12C and 12D. 12C is a consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order approving the fiscal year 2025, 2026, and 2026, 2027 two-year operating budget. That's 12C. 12D is consideration to approve the 2025, 2026 capital improvement program budget. And these both items will be introduced by our Director of Finance, Mr. Matthew Schenk.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Yes, this is the final presentation for our new two-year budget. These were provided to the council on May 13th, as well to the Ways and Means on May 29th. Both had no changes and recommended to move forward. So here we are for the final presentation. This is a presentation for items 12C and 12D, as you mentioned. Starting with the operating budget, we are showing a small surplus for both fiscal years. Fiscal year 25-26, we have revenues of $89.2 million, expenditures of $89.1 million, for a total surplus of $86,000. For the following year, we have very similar revenues of $89.9 million, expenditures of $89.8 million, and surplus of just $85,000. Here's just a trend analysis for the revenues for the last 3 years with the upcoming two-year budget. You can see 22-23, we were at $71.8 million, steadily increasing consistently up to $89.2 million, as I just mentioned. For the next year, $89.9 million for 26-27. As with similar to the revenues, the expenditures are steadily increasing as well. 22-23, we had $57.9 million coming out of COVID, a lot less expenditures than we were expecting, to where now we're just at $89.1 million for the next fiscal year and $89.8 million for 26-27. Reserves, current reserve levels, you can see total is $64.7 million. That is currently at 72% funded. However, $8.5 million is going to be paid back to the reserves over time. And had we had that money right now, that would be an 82% funding level. So most importantly, unassigned, $27.9 million. That is completely unrestricted. That is what the council has available for spending if needed or desired. One item that was not brought to the council back on May 13th was the capital improvement plan. This is done annually where the budget is biannually. And currently the CIP budget is $262 million. Tonight we are requesting $19.8 million, and these are coming from special revenues, gas tax, RBBD funds, there's a whole list of items. It's about 30 items that we can pull from. I'm happy to report tonight that in that $19.8 million we are requesting, we are actually putting back $60,000 into the general fund. So we closed out some projects, we're putting that back into the general fund. So in that $19.8 million, we're not requesting any general fund monies. And so with the approval tonight, that we would have a total CIP budget of $281.9 million. Following this, we are requesting an amendment to the CIP that is in the packet. Earlier today, we had a special Public Safety Committee meeting where it was presented for additional costs for the South Paris Fire Station for a total of $1.8 million. 1.7 of that is for offsite improvements. 110,000 is for building fees. Approximately 687 of that is already earmarked. We're going to receive from March Joint Powers Authority for land sale. And the difference will be paid by future revenues or reserves as the council wishes. Below is the recommendation, the two recommendations for the City Council to approve fiscal year 25, 26, 26, 27 operating and capital improvement budget. And the second recommendation is to approve the CIP amendment of $1.8 million to CIP F077. With that, I first of all want to thank all the rest of the directors. It's a lot of meetings. We started this back in February, and you know, they are busy, and I really appreciate them taking the time. They don't want to have to deal with finance and go through all these details, but it's a collaborative effort with everybody. It's not just finance, so thank you. And
Great. Thank you, Mr. Shank.
happy to answer any questions you may have.
Madam Clerk, do you have any public comment on this?
No, sir.
Council, any questions, comments? If not, looking for Mayor Pro Tem Rep.
Yes, I had a question regarding city council expenditures. I was looking at the page, I think it's page 58 on the, I think a screenshot of it. So it says, for the proposed 2025 to 26 and 26 to 27, there's $100,000 for each of those fiscal years for capital outlay. And I believe on another page, it said something about software or software update. Can you expound upon that?
Yeah, capital outlay, that's a great question, tends to be new softwares that we're adding on. It could be the voting softwares that we use if we're changing, or there's Evolve, we're changing, not Evolve, I'm sorry, it's our NeoGov? NeoGov is one that we use for, I'm sorry, I'm totally drawing a blank on what we,
If I may also, we are also looking into updating our Granica system for the agenda so that it also includes for that sort of software. So right now, we compact our agenda into, you get two separate emails because it's, the capabilities currently don't allow it to have one document. So we're looking into upgrading all those, that software as well for the agenda packages.
Okay, staff, in the future, just call on me to let you, if you want to speak, to help your colleague out. You don't have to leave him hanging out there.
And quick question, for the 100,000, whoever can answer this, it's going to be 200,000 over the next 2 years just to condense the agenda? Or is there any way we can just maybe cut? Because I'm worried that we have an $85,000 surplus, so we have to nickel and that's kind of the lowest one I've seen in my 10 years on here. No offense to anybody, because I know I just think we need to really be cognizant, because I really do not want to go on a deficit, because I really do not want to end up like a San Bernardino or a Stockton or any of those other cities. We've been good so far, but I just see a lot of, any way we can save money, I want to save money, because I don't want to have to be tasked with trying to downsize and lay people off or anything of that sort. So I know it's very small, but when you have a $85,000 surplus, I think every $100,000, $200,000 or 100,000, another 100,000 is I don't mind receiving two agendas unless the software is really outdated. So that's just my little comment. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you.
What were we going to say?
Mayor Pro Tem, when we do our budgets, we're very conservative. We underestimate the revenues and overestimate the expenditures. So most of the time since I've been here, we come in under on expenditures and over on the revenues.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So the 100,000 is for the software, correct?
It could be, yes, it would include software, but it's not, it could be used for other items, for updating any of your equipment as well.
So is that the amount we always carry on?
I don't remember that specific line item from the prior year, but these are just.
Well, you can always say budgeted, but then actuals come out later where you don't need it, it goes back in anyway.
It's budgeted, worst case scenario.
Right, I'd rather it be there and available, and if it's not used, because we're being stringent on how we spend money, it just goes back.
Correct.
All right. Councilman Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. For someone that might be tuning in today and missed the other presentation that from the previous meetings, the revenue or the expenditures went from 81 million to 89 million. If you could explain why the large increase.
The MOU.
And I wonder if you could maybe go back a few slides to that slide with the expenditures. Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as from going from 89.1 to the 89.8?
No, from 81 to 89.
Well, the largest expense to the city is public safety. We did get a new contract with fire. As well as personnel. Those are the two largest, the new MOU as well as fire.
All right, I don't see anybody else in the queue. I'm looking for a motion to approve items 12C and D. I already called for public comment. Have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rab. Please call the vote. Thank you, Mr. Shank, by the way. Great presentation. And for the team, all your directors helping them out. Someone didn't vote. Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, emotion, Hey, David, you still gotta vote yes.
You didn't vote.
I was getting the vote for the next thing.
5-0, motion approved.
All right, thank you. 12E is consideration and provide feedback on the Paris Historic Theater Restoration Project design options. This will be presented by our Director of Public Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. This item will be presented by Brian Wickersham of Ox Architecture, who will provide details of 4 concept design options for the Downtown Paris Theater Reservation Project. The staff is requesting that the City Council direct staff with selection of design option and the lot size allocation. And with that, I'd like to defer to Brian Wickersham.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. I am very excited to present this evening our 4 concepts for the Paris Theater Project. I hope, I saw that Mayor Pro Tem went up and got his book. I hope that everyone's had an opportunity to take a look at that. Much like your high school history teacher took the first 8 weeks of the semester to go from cave paintings to the Renaissance, and then presented from Renaissance to NASA on the last day of the semester, I'm going to attempt to present 150 pages in about 15 minutes. So I will go very quickly. The primary reason for that is I want the community to have the opportunity to see at a high level the designs, but also leave a lot of time for questions about the different schemes. I'd also like to start before we get into the design, to say that this book is really the reflection of a series of meetings with city staff, the Historic Society, the Planning Department, the presentation to City Council last month, and a tremendous amount of communication from the community, not just about what they want to see at the theater, but their vision for how this project has the potential to be a catalyst for the city. And so really, this large booklet is a combination of all those thoughts in research. So as we presented a month ago, just at a very high level, the existing building is just over 400 seats and just under 7,000 square feet. It consists of a building that was built in the late 1930s, and it's had a number of different lives over the years, but more importantly, it really is, as everyone in the room knows, an icon of the community. Through all of our community outreach and all of our meetings, it became very clear the importance and the significance of the building, and specifically the blade sign. So in all of the 4 options that we're presenting tonight, we're proposing that we would preserve that main blade sign, even in the schemes that were originally deemed as new construction. We also want, just at a high level, to remind everyone that this process really started with a big research project, not just looking at the community and the adjacencies to the site, but also looking at surrounding communities, the theaters that they have, the successful theaters that they have, and the scales of those theaters and how that can inform the work that we're doing. Specific to this page, though, one of the main things that has come up and a concern that has been expressed all throughout this process is the impact to the parking in the area. The study that's on the bottom right here is showing that within 300 feet of the theater site, which is at the bottom right of the drawing that you see, there's about 500 parking spaces, both available in city lots, surface parking, and also through use of the Metro lot that there's an agreement for the use of those sites, or for that lot. And so In our 4 schemes that we're presenting, the highest parking demand is about 160 parking spaces per the zoning code. And so we have ample parking around. So we can come back to this and talk about it in more detail, but we wanted to just get that right off the bat to discuss the major analysis that's been done. So to the schemes, and again, I will go through these very quickly. For everyone that wasn't aware or hasn't been at a previous meeting, we were tasked at looking at 4 different scenarios: restoration of the existing building, restoration with a small addition, restoration with a large addition, and then a new building. The scheme that we're showing first is the restoration scheme, which is really about restoring the icon that is there. The images that you see here really is to convey a couple simple thoughts that sometimes, like the image of Petra in the top left of the collage there, sometimes what you take away is more important than what you add. That subtraction of some of the additions and some of the things that are there can lead to something that is really easy to transform just with a really light touch of color and texture. And ultimately, what's on the inside is really more important than the exterior in a lot of ways. So in this scheme, as in the others, we are proposing that in addition to the renovation or the building project, that we would be utilizing some of the adjacent parcels directly to the north of the site. So looking at this drawing and orienting everyone on this particular drawing for all future drawings, we have D Street across the bottom, 3rd Street on the right, the existing building on the corner here. On this particular scheme, this is the existing building renovation, and then we're proposing that we take the 2 adjacent lots, I believe that's lot 8 and 9, to turn into a small park that would have the opportunity for a small performance stage, which would be a rental stage or a collapsible stage that could be brought in for performance. Really, the idea with all of these schemes is that we want the impact of this to be beyond just the building, to have the opportunity to expand to the community, the different people that can come and use it. Families can use it in different ways, day and night, and also inside and outside. Everyone, we can reference this in the conversations later, but just for primary reference here, the existing theater has about 400 seats. In options 1 and 2, where we're primarily keeping the building in place, just adjust that there, we actually end up with fewer seats in this scenario. So the reason for that is that the primary thing that we need to accomplish with options 1 and 2, preserving the building, is we have to get to a higher level of accessibility. So what we're doing is we're adding 2 accessible pathways on the sides of the seating area, and then we're building within the envelope of the building a raked seating system, so building off of the concrete deck that is there to provide good sight lines and to provide a new seating system. This particular scenario really is just working within the footprint that's there. It's upgrades with finishes and some basic new seats. No additional fly space or back of house space is added in this scenario. And then on the second floor, we get secondary functions like the control room, offices, and some of the AV and IT rooms that you need for a theater building. And in option 1, that looks like this. So really, this is just a refresh of the building that's there. There's a pretty substantial amount of structural work that has to happen to the blade that is there. It's in pretty rough condition, but our hope is with some new structure and some new finishes, we can get that cleaned up and looking fresh and new. So picking up on the existing blue that's there, the addition of a new marquee where there was once a marquee that's been removed a few years ago. And then you'll see off to the right of this image, we're proposing that we would commission from some local artists some murals that would go onto the flanking sides of the building. We think there's a great opportunity for getting local artists involved both on the building and in the arts park adjacent to it. And so we see in this image, looking into the parking area, or the current parking area. So set up with a temporary stage and a little greenery there. So again, activating both inside and out, preserving the blade sign and preserving the name, the Paris. A rendering of what that park space might look like. We don't get a lot of green space, but I think it makes a big impact to have just a little bit there. You see the murals beyond the stage. Plan view, seeing the park space adjacent. And then an aerial view here. So in this particular scheme, as I mentioned, the existing building's about 6,600 square feet. We're adding 530 square feet, and the little addition that you're seeing there is to accommodate the structure that's needed for the new seating system within. So total building area of 7,100 square feet. This will get us between 240 and 280 seats, and expands into lot 11 and 12 of the adjacent parking area. And what this totals out to be is about, we're estimating between 7.5 and 10.3 million, which falls in line with a lot of historic data that we're seeing for theater renovation projects between $1,000 and $1,400 a square foot. And we'll circle back into a side-by-side of all these schemes. Option two, which...
Excuse me, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I know you're gonna circle back, but with the seating of option one, is that a flat floor, or is that retractable?
Oh, so in option one, it's going to be a raked seating system.
So it's going to be similar to what they have right now, but less.
It's
less
actually going to be steeper. So it comes in flat on the side, so you have an accessible path into the center aisle. And then from there, you can go up the stairs or down the steps towards the stage. But our accessible seating happens in that central aisle. So if somebody's in a wheelchair, they can come in on the sides and then sit in the middle. And so that's an equitable way to provide the seating, because you're right in the center.
Okay, so the only use for that would be just like a theater setting, right?
It will
it's not
be-
going to be for a dance hall, for example, right?
In that scenario, it would not be a dance hall setup, but as I'm about to show in Scheme 2, we actually have a retractable seating system in that, which gives the opportunity for some flat areas.
Okay, thank you.
And so in option two, what we're looking at in this scenario is a minor expansion. Architecturally, what we're thinking in this particular scenario is picking up the roof line, the sort of pitched roof that you see at the front of the building, picking that roof line up and then just letting it feel like there's a natural expansion, sort of a lift that happens with it towards the park area. And conceptually, it's really about making it feel as though it's always sort of been there, but also has a sort of unique new character to it as well. So in this particular scheme, we're showing the existing 6,600 square foot building and then the 4,200 square foot expansion. That expansion area is primarily for back-of-house functions that you need to get a functional theater to work. And then we've got the arts park adjacent to it with a large lawn area in the front, some kids' play areas, and some other activation zones for cafe area outside of our concession stand, and a little kids' play area to the left there. So from a theater standpoint, as we were just talking about, this scenario is exactly the same as option one, with the exception of a retractable seating system. The retractable seating gives you some flexibility, but there is a trade-off acoustically with those systems. They tend to make a little bit more noise when you walk on them, but it does give you the opportunity for dance floor, or potentially if you wanted to do something more like a dinner theater or a convention-style seating where you have tables inside. The addition in this scheme, we won't get into a ton of detail here, but I think the biggest thing I want to call your attention to that we have in schemes 2, 3, and 4 is that we're trying to maximize flexibility with all these schemes. In a lot of the community outreach, one of the things that continually came up was about different types of opportunity. And so what we want is the rehearsal space, which is really an important space for a functioning theater, to also double as a space that can be used for learning, classroom space, but also function as a black box theater that can open up into that park space. And so really it's through that flexibility and that multiple functionality that we're getting a lot of usage out of a big part of the program that we have to build here. And then again, much like Scheme 1, we have all of our secondary functions like office and control room on the second floor. And the scheme looks like this. So again, really trying to preserve that iconic blade sign. We're inverting the color scheme on this one, so going to more of a light gray blade, and then taking the blue of the blade and letting that be the shed roof that is existing there, and then picking up on that to the left side, letting that roof line sort of pick up and elevate towards the park. We see it here with that elevated roof, storefront glazing underneath it that looks into a gallery display space, as well as the concession stand. And then from the Arts Park, you see that multifunction black box space that has a series of accordion doors, so you have the opportunity to open up that entire facade. And so you can have performances in the park with the cover of the performers and the functionality of a lighting grid and the different things that come above the stage in that area. Some visualizations of the park. We call this the Mosaic Plaza. So again, opportunity to have local artists involved in the design and also the implementation of the park area. Image of people utilizing the park, opportunity for not just performance, but just use as a normal park. You see in the aerial view here that in addition to the park and the building, we do have the opportunity for about, I think it's 35 parking spaces on the adjacent lot. And so with each of these scenarios, there's really pros and cons for the different approach, but we do really like the opportunity for the building to expand beyond the footprint and let that catalyst expand and to create this arts park and really what it can start to do for engagement with the community, not just on nights of a performance. And so for this scheme, this is still around 240 to 280 seats because it's preserving the existing theater space. And for the overall cost of this, we're expanding, as I mentioned, about 4,200 square feet. And this one we're estimating is around 10.8 to 14.7. But I would say, again, these are really rough estimates based on historic data. I think with all of these schemes, there's opportunity through the design process to work those numbers and really work it towards a budget that we establish at a city level. Go for it.
Oh, I'm not sure we can go to the next one, but with the retractable seating, it's just the front set that kind of retracts?
So what we would propose in that scheme is that the back set of seating is retractable. So it's like a fancy gymnasium seating like you would see at the high school gym. And then in the front section, the seats actually remove and you can put in an elevated dance floor.
Oh, you put it a dance
Yeah.
floor, and
Yeah.
that'll be about the same height as the stage?
It would end up being about the same height as the stage. That's one of the downsides of that particular scheme, is that because the existing stage level is already set with the existing building, it ends up coming in kind of flush.
Or potentially you could put a temporary stage
You
to
could.
be higher?
Yeah,
Okay.
you could.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Option 3, which is the substantial expansion. So this scheme, we're calling it the building in silhouette. This is where we're starting to look at adding the functionality of a proper professional performance space with the full back of house, the fly space behind and above the stage. And for this scheme, what we're proposing is that we build a veil that's in front of the building. We build this sort of piano key screen that floats in front of the building, so you get that glimpse of what is there, but you're also able to really transform it. And so again, with a light touch, we preserve the sort of iconic pieces of it, but we're really making a little bit larger statement as to what the architecture can be. So again, in this scenario, take my glasses down. So this is about 19,000 square feet on the addition that you see in the pink here. We've got the outdoor cafe space outside of our concessions here, the performance lawn, play area, and then we get this activation zone outside of the cafe, which is sort of flex space and cafe seating. To the interior, off of D Street, we get the main lobby and gallery which gives you a really nice pre-function into the main seating area. The seating area on this one gets us between 320 and 340 seats, proper stage space with wings, and then we get back-of-house functionality on the backside, as well as we get that same multifunction black box space opening up to the garden on the left side of the drawing here, with lots 2 through 8 dedicated to park space. And then on the second floor, we get some administrative function and our normal back-of-house projection room and IT AV.
Hey, Brian, quick question on
Yeah,
the
of course.
last one. I know for that one, it said P8 has, is it 2 classrooms and 2 meetings? How big are those classroom sizes?
You're going to really test my vision here on this tiny monitor.
It was on the last slide. And it's at the top where it says alley from the bottom, it says 2P8. And I was wondering, those are just regular classrooms?
Yeah, those are going to end up being around 400 to 500 square feet, which is a pretty standard classroom size. I would also say in that scheme, there's also the potential that that wall between isn't a fixed wall, but could be an accordion wall system. That way you could expand that into an even larger space if needed. So if you were having a conference, that could be expandable.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
Every time I present here, I forget that I can't read the monitor with my glasses on. And so if I'm taking them on and off, it's not me being confused. My vision is that bad. And so this is where we are with the substantial expansion. So again, really transforming the building in this scheme, letting this screen of aluminum piano keys spill across the building and then define some new massing, preserving that iconic blade sign and the marquee, but really letting the building be the backdrop, the datum for that blade sign. You also see on the massing on the right that we think there's lots of opportunity still for public art on the building. So a view from the northwest, so we see the sort of piano screen extending towards the gardens. The taller blue mast that you see in the background, that's the fly space above the stage. So that's where all the rigging and drapery goes above the stage. And then to the left is the Black Box Theater opening to the garden that we see here with the bifold doors, the garden in the foreground. Some of the garden spaces adjacent to the art park, in the art park. And you start to see the vision for how that space can be utilized for both performance and daily use. Building footprint, park and parking. And in this scenario, this gets us, we're estimating between 320 and 340 seats. And this one is falling around 25 to 35 million. And so pretty substantial cost on that, but that's really due to the square footage that we're talking about. At 32,000 square feet, 1,200 to 1,700 square feet, $1,200 to $1,700 a square foot. Cost per square foot is a pretty average for theater price. And then in option 4, which is the new building, as I mentioned in the opening remarks, really what we're thinking with this scheme is that while it's a new building, while we're transforming it, we really do want to continue to preserve that blade sign. So we'd be taking it down, restoring it, and then putting it back in place over the marquee. In fact, we would preserve the marquee of the building and then use that form of the marquee to start to define a veil, sort of a folding veil, like a curtain that goes across the building, to really transform this into something that is not just kind of an iconic blade sign, but a new piece that is iconic alongside it, that could be defined by a series of parts that you'll see in the renderings that is potentially either, again, an aluminum screen like option 3, or it could potentially be a translucent surface. And really those options within this is how we're starting to think about that range in the price, that there's a lot of design to be left to be done. And so really what we're trying to do is suggest a vision for it, not necessarily an architecture of it. And so in option 4, the full building expands over to around lot 8, and then we're taking the remainder of the lots to the edge of the street for the art park. Same functionality that we have in the other schemes. The only difference here is that we would be pulling the cafe space out of the footprint of the building. So that would be a freestanding cafe that opens into the art park. And then in the building proper, we're making a slight adjustment in the configuration. We still enter in under the blade sign into the main pre-function gallery. We get our 500-seat theater, proper stage and wing space. Our multi-function space is now to the back side of the main stage space, opening up to the park, and then we get our back-of-house function along the alley side of the property here. At one point, we did look at the potential to vacate that alley to try to get a little bit more space, but at this time, that would be something that would require a little bit more study. But really, this is sticking within the property lines that we have. But you start to see that sort of folded veil, that fold of a drapery in the facade of the building. And then on the upper floor, again, admin functions and secondary functions for the theater space. And in this scheme, because we do get a new roof area, what we're proposing is what we're calling the Founders Room on the 3rd floor, which would be a space that would be an opportunity for not just naming, but for corporate sponsorship, donor sponsorship. But this would really be the place where that if you've sponsored a show at the theater or you've contributed to the construction of the theater as a local business, you would have access to this Founders Room area, both the interior space that would have its own private cafe and bar space, but also out into a roof garden area that we see to the right here that would be, I think, also not just a space for the sort of founders to utilize, but also has the opportunity for a lot of different functional use. And that looks like this. So we see that sort of folded veil, that drapery of a building set behind the blade sign, rendered here with aluminum fins. The blue of the sign picking up in the block walls at the base. And then roof garden you can see sort of spilling off of the tops of the building. Because of the orientation of this building, we get the main fly space to the north side. And then on the back side here, we see the fly space with the folding doors opening up to the black box that opens out into the art park. Some of the vignettes in the garden. And then the overall plan where you see the park both on the existing parking lot area, but also carrying onto the roof of the building to that Founders Park on the rooftop. And then in the aerial here, we see this scheme gets us to around 500 to 550 seats. And it's coming in around $35 to $48 million. Again, I would say with all of these schemes, there's the opportunity in how the council views it, that it's not just option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. There's very likely an opportunity to have hybrid schemes between option 1 and 2, between option 2 and 3, and option 3 and 4. And so really what we've tried to do is lay out a series of ideas of how we could approach the project. And as Sabrina mentioned in her opening remarks, really what we're seeking this evening is direction on which of the schemes council would like the city to continue to pursue, and the lot allocation that goes along with it that allows for that functionality like the arts park adjacent. And I think I did it on time. It might have been a little slow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That wasn't 15 minutes, but that's all right.
How long was
All right.
that?
Council, it's more like 25 minutes. Pushing.
I'm in trouble as always. Sorry about that.
Council, comments, questions? Let me ask one quick question. Are we foregoing on our multi-use project? I mean, when you go into option 4, you just took up the whole block.
And that's an option. So that is why we're here tonight asking for direction. We stick to whether the council wants to give us direction to, we want to stay with the restoration option, which takes up minimal space with the possibility.
I realize what the options
Oh.
are. It's a question, are we foregoing on the multi-use downtown project that we're getting ready to put out an RFP on?
Well, if you want to go with option 4, yes. But if you want to direct us to stick with option 1, then no. We
Where are
wouldn't
we
move
at
forward.
with the RFP?
So at this point, we are pending the direction tonight.
So that you're holding that off, waiting on
Correct.
this?
Yes, so so we want to get direction, how much space you want to allocate for the
Gotcha.
restoration, and then we can
I
set
got
out
it,
the RFP.
I got it. Very simple. We need to make moving here. All right, Council, please use the cue.
I had a few questions. So, for scheme 4, I was kind of confused of where the like, is there a cafe inside and outside, or is that cafe shareable between the outside stage and the inside stage?
So what we're showing in option 4 is that there will be a proper cafe
Mhm.
outside the footprint of the building that opens into the park. And then that kitchen would serve a concessions that's inside the pre-function area, which is this little triangle that my
Mhm.
cursor's on here.
Mhm.
And then there would be some additional concession space on the 3rd floor of the founder's room area.
Oh, okay, that makes much more sense. I know for me, in my opinion, I would like a scheme 4, but I would want the scheme 1 design. I like where it's like, that light gray in the middle, and then I like the blue line on top. I think that's what I would like more. I'm not really a fan of the sticks, like the lines. To me, it kind of reminds me of like an office building, and I want a theater. I want it to look like exactly like a theater. But if it was like the scheme 1 design, I would appreciate that more. I like the murals. I'm asking can we make the marquee a little bit more taller?
We certainly could make the marquee taller, but it starts to cover the blade sign. And so I think the balance is enough that you can get words onto it without covering that.
Okay. And then also, I wanted to say that even though it's a lot of money, I would suggest scheme 4 only because, the Metrolink is right here. I believe it would be a very successful theater within the next coming years if we have a nice big theater. Temecula has, like a 360-seat theater, and they're doing pretty good. But I feel like we would be more competitive, and a lot of bands or artists would want to come here because there'll be more ticket sales. If we have the more seats, the better. So that's something that I really want, that I really want to do. I do like the multi-use aspect. I think the rooftop, I think that's a pretty good idea. I think it's interesting. But I'm thinking more about like the playground and the grassy area from the side. I think it's a little bit too much, only because I'm thinking, what if we can use it as like a little fair so then people can add booths? Like, I kind of want that to be more multi-use and be like, maybe it'll be more space, so a little bit less trees, because I know we need trees for shade. But if we can add a little bit less, so then I feel like people can come and then people can have their own events. Because what I'm thinking is for the stage on the outside, I would love to have like a screen to where, what if we can add events like we can add like a Super Bowl party there, or we can add like couple of games, like we can add a Switch there, and then like we can all play like Mario Kart. Like, it'll be really cool, functional, multi-use. So I do like that stage in the back too. I'm just kind of debating whether having all that like play area, picnic area. I feel like if it was a little bit more generalized and just having more land, maybe we can add a fair and like a lot of booths there, so then we can add other type of events there.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of the idea of the lawn at the
Mm-hmm.
art park is that it can be used in a lot of different ways. It can be used for fairs. You can set up tents on it. And then the schemes that have parking adjacent to it, that's really a great spot for, food truck festival and that kind of thing.
Is that lawn enough? Like the one that you have on there, is that enough to have like, I don't know, like 30 tables for like a fair?
Yeah, I think in most of the schemes, you'd be able to have 30 or more tables. But like all of these, it will require additional design, additional study to really get it to the appropriate thing for the city, for the scale and for all the function that you want out of it. I did want to say to your one point about Temecula, just to reiterate for those that hadn't had the opportunity to be at other presentations, Temecula is reporting currently about $5 million a year in revenue with that theater, which is around 360 seats. That is largely made possible because of the back of house function that goes with that theater. That's the fly space, the wings, the stage, and all the things behind it. In options 3 and 4, you're getting that functionality, and I think with the right program director and the right programming, there's the potential to get to those numbers. But without that back of house function, it's hard to estimate it. Ultimately, all of these are going to be really dependent on bringing in the right partner or the right program director. And I think that there's some pros and cons for partnership on this that would be the next level of study that the city would want to take on.
Perfect. And last question or suggestion that I would like is, I don't know if scheme 4 or 3 had like that neon lighting outlined for the Paris Theater, like all over, like not just the Paris, but it's like all over on, because at night it would make it pop more for the lighting.
Yeah, all of them would
All
have
of them
that
do.
same neon. Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, that's really, it was really important that we preserve that sort of iconic look of it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Councilman Corona?
Thank you, Mayor. With the veils, I think you referred to a veil with the slats.
Yep.
I wonder if you happen to have a picture of an actual building that currently has that, or is that just kind of potentially it could look like that?
I think that there are probably a lot of buildings we could share with you that have aluminum style screens in front of glass.
Okay.
You do that for both sun control to exude some rhythm in the facade, but it's also, I think, to let it have something to glow through at night. And so really, we don't have night renderings of it. That takes a whole nother level of detailed development to get to. But the idea with all of those is that at night, this building really glows and becomes this sort of lantern in the center of the city. And so
Okay.
that's really the concept behind it, that the veil allows light in, but also allows light to spill out in the evening.
Okay, all right. I've never been one to be good at fashion or architecture design. I kind of just stick with simple things, and I love the architecture of our city hall, and I just kind of want to maybe see if we could envision something that kind of looks more Spanish themed. Kind of go in line with our library, for example. It's more of a classical look because I'm not sure in 20 years this might be outdated, but this building and the library will always look beautiful. Going back to the Temecula one, I think you mentioned about $5 or $6 million in revenue. Is that include the expenses? Is that profit?
No, it's hard to say. That's just what they're publicly reporting. We would assume that is gross.
Okay.
That is their total revenue on it. But Temecula was really great when we went to visit them. I think city staff has a really good relationship there. I think it would be a matter of just sitting down with them, and then I get the impression they would probably share some of that detail at a greater level.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just concerned about the cost. I think for me, I mean, obviously, for number 4 would be great because it's large. We could do so much things and stuff like that. But we don't have $48 million. And so my decision would have to be based on the cost and obviously the needs of our residents and what their priorities are. And I'm sure we were all there when we saw a survey, and this was unfortunately towards the bottom of their priorities. It's something that I've lived in Paris my whole life. I wanted to come to fruition one day, but I just can't tell the residents, hey, we can't fix X, Y, and Z because we're spending money on something that's not a priority. So that's just thing, but
I would.
it's got nothing with you.
One of the things that we've extended to staff is that really, in order to realize a project of this scale, it takes partnership. It takes going to foundations, private donors to make it a reality. You know, you went through your budget earlier tonight, and it would be hard to justify 90% of the city's annual budget going to a single building. But there are a number of foundations that are out there that are funding projects like this. I think that the opportunity is there for that kind of partnership strategically. And what we would advocate for, and I think we said it in the executive summary, is that we take some time to go and meet with those people and see what funds are available before you would fully commit to a budget. I think it's the prudent step because we all see what the numbers are there. It would be hard to pull that out of the bank account.
I got you. Okay.
Do you have a preference yet, Mr. Corona?
I'm leaning more towards number 2. I think number 1 just kind of does what we currently have. And I mean, you know what, for number 1 was our only movie theater in our city, and it went out of business for decades, right? And I've never seen it up and running. I know when my parents first came, they watched a movie there, but you know, just kind of a, you know, I don't think it's at the level that we want. I like number 2. It expands it. It makes it kind of a little modernizes, but keeps its tradition. I'm not a huge fan of the architecture that we have right there. I think we could make it maybe Spanish themed tile roof, for example. So yeah, I would say number 2. But I think there are a lot of questions that we do need to ask. I have a list, but if someone wants to speak right now,
No one else is queued in. I
okay.
guess no
Well,
one else has
I'm
any.
going to kind of do it. So if any staff wants to jump in, but I'm just thinking about what the viability of this location is going to be. You know, we're obviously going to think about spending a lot of money. So I just want to talk about the financial viability and funding for starters. What is the expected annual cost of operation maintenance after the revival? And then will the revived theater generate enough revenue to be self-sustaining, or will it require ongoing subsidies? And then are there potential cost overruns, and how will those be managed or covered? And what is the plan for a long-term financial sustainability? So if someone wants to staff or maybe you have something that you want to input on.
So I'll give staff a second. So at a high level, I will say, again, so I think it's about securing the funding, talking to foundations, grants, looking at that. But I also think it's about the partnership, and I think it's about either bringing in a partner that is the operator, or it's bringing in a program director that can help you start to put together not just the operational budget, but really looking at what that potential revenue can be. It's looking at the types of performance that are going to work, what those ticket prices are going to be, and that, I think, is a prudent next step to be considering that. I think that you really want to do it. I don't know if any staff wants to weigh in on it, but.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Corona. So then that would be the next step. So once we get direction from the council as to what is it that the vision you want to see there, the scale of the renovation, the size, now that you know what the costs look like, the next step would be staff would now be looking for those opportunities when there is funding available. We don't have funding now, but now that we have a target, we know what we want to accomplish, and we need to start looking for funding and resources. So that would be the next step. But we need a starting point as to what your vision is, so that we know what our goal is and what our target is, so we can start.
Yeah, so I think I've already said it multiple times. My vision has always been multi-use. You know, with the whole thing about a theater where it's slope floors, and you could really only use it for a theater. So I do like option 2 because it has the retractable seating. You know, it keeps a flat floor. You can rent it out for a quinceañera, a wedding, or certain events and stuff like that. For programming as well too. And at the same time, you could also use it for a theater. Like we don't have a movie theater, obviously. Everyone knows that. Maybe there's a potential for you know, if there's a big movie coming out, we just kind of show that movie for the next 2 weeks or something like that. Hopefully it's sustainable on its own. But I think in terms of the cost, I mean, all the other ones are too expensive. I think the restoration, believe it or not, is too expensive to bring it back to what we currently have right now. So I think if we're going to spend some money, then we should at least look at the second option. I think it's more conducive for what our residents need and what our staff needs as well too.
I would recommend, I would recommend that in that study, we look at what the potential revenues are with the different functionality that goes with it. Because I think the downside to option 2 is without the proper back of house and without the fly space, it may be hard to get to those revenue numbers that we were talking about with Temecula. Those revenues are made possible by that functionality, and that's something that does require a little bit more study from a program director or a partner.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I know in the past people talked about, oh, we could have it open for the schools and the schools could do a collaboration. Paris High School has a phenomenal theater. They're not using this. You know, the other elementary schools are going to Paris High School because they obviously redid their theater. But yeah, I don't see this as a moneymaker.
But on that note, there's a lot of schools in the district or in the city, and they can't always, the place is gonna be booked, so this could be a second venue.
It could be, potentially, but it's not going to be used as a moneymaker then. I mean, you know, I see as our city is.
Well, we're not
is
in the
allowing
business
this
of
to-
making money. the city.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be in the business of also having a like a money pit, just throwing money out there. So I'm just concerned about the maintenance, the ongoing sustainability of this location.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be my concern, is just being self-sustainable. We're not in the business of making money, but we need to make enough money to keep it running. All right, we need to move on, guys. Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Rapp, do you have some comments?
I agree with Councilman Corona regarding option 2. When I initially read the agenda, I was leaning toward option 1 because I think it was something more practical in terms of getting it to fruition. But in terms of actually making it something where we can have the public buy into it and help sustain itself, I think the retractable seating will help open it up to other events, conferences, family events such as that we can make money throughout the week, and hopefully, because we don't want to be hemorrhaging money with this project, and that's what because the city actually owned the theater in the 80s, and I think they sold it to that church, and then the pastor died, and they brought it back. So we've already sunk a lot of money into this thing. So I think option 2, a pared down version of option 2, closer to the 10 million, is one, more practical, and 2, it also allows us to use it for other uses that will help it break even and help sustain itself. So option 2.
Councilwoman Nava?
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, as was mentioned already, the color scheme I am not in favor of. So I would prefer.
Of all together? You want-
The grays more specifically. I know the blue is reminiscent of it reminds us of the theater, but if we could cancel out the gray. Gray just gives military, it gives prison. We need to lean towards more modern, more, like, I agree, the color scheme that we're using for the library and city hall are more inviting and more welcoming versus the gray, right? So just a reminder to keep it a little bit more airy, and then I'm okay with the blue, but just find another color to replace that gray. Thank you.
Which one you like?
I'm open to either restoration 1 or 2.
Okay, all right.
Well, I also want to mention is, I'm just thinking here long-term, if we do scheme 1, 3, or 2, it's the same as Temecula. Like we're not really competing against any other theater. Like, if I had to choose between Paris and Temecula, I would go to Temecula because there's more things there. But if we're more competitive and we had 500 seats, and I know it's very expensive. Like, I am aware how expensive it is. I don't know how we're gonna fund it, but we have the Metrolink here. This could be the one good thing that we have Paris on the map, and other businesses are going to come and be like, they have a 500-seat, theater. More businesses will want to come, and then our downtown will actually be worth looking into. I don't, I understand how practical it is, but sometimes I feel like we have to think about the future, be like, we have potential here. And if we get this state-of-the-art theater that's 500 seats, which is one of the bigger ones here in this area, then we can really make something out of it and make Paris really grow here.
All right, thank you. That's enough. The comments we're gonna cut this short here, and I'm gonna say why. First of all, we're not in a rush. There's no timeline. Second of all, most importantly, you just brought up some comments about investors, people who are willing to work with this. Because if I had it my way, number 4 in a heartbeat. But I don't have $35 to $48 million to spend on this. So my suggestion here is I'm not even worried about giving you ideas right now. We need to take the next step to follow what he said and go meet these folks Staff, remind me, we went on a tour. Was it with your office, Sabrina?
Yes, with the
So we went with Public Services. We went to visit a couple of cities, Temecula, one of them. We went to even Santa Ana. And yeah, these places all have managers, whatever, you said the name, whatever you call them.
Program manager.
Pardon me?
Program manager.
Program, so we need to step back again and make these visits and follow up on what you're talking about with the people who are willing to invest in stuff and see where the potential is if we can get to item 4. I'll throw it out there, yeah, I'm leaning more to, it's a little, it's more money, but it's not as expensive as 35. I'm sure it's not gonna be 35 item 4, it's gonna be more like 48 plus. But I want to see what kind of options we have, and again, this does not have a timeline. We don't need to get this done by tomorrow night. So, staff, my direction with you, the rest of my council, my colleagues' consensus, I'd like for us to start studying more options about funding and sustainability issues of that nature, and then come back and see if we can actually go up a higher notch on these buildings options. Everybody good?
Yeah, but
You have a comment?
yeah, quick comment. So I'm not sure what option we're gonna go to. It looks like possibly number 2. But at the very least, right now is for option 2 not gonna come to fruition within probably the next few years. But right now, I think we could do a decent paint job on the building.
Of course.
It's very terrible right now. So we could just kind of start looking at doing that as soon as possible.
I thought we were doing that already, because we want to preserve that metal before it gets even more damaged. We weren't putting a bid out for painting? Okay, well, we definitely need to do that. We got to protect what's up there now. Sir, I appreciate your time tonight. This is wonderful, good stuff. Personally, I love architect work. This is my forte, but we really need to explore what our capabilities are and where if we can go beyond 2 into 3 and 4, even better. But you did bring up some good points that we need to follow up with staff and our team and see, and make some more visits and see if we can potentially, because even Councilwoman Vallejo brought, we can ride the train right there to the venue, so that's awesome. All right, we need to move on. Thank you for your time, sir, and we'll be seeing you back soon, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Item 13, council communications. Brief communications. Councilwoman Vallejo.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to say thank you for everyone who attended the Rods and Rails event. It was such a good event. I think we finally got the date right for not being too hot. It wasn't that bad. It was actually a pretty good weather day, so I'm sure we are going to keep it the same date. But it was a really great event. A lot of people showed up, more than last year for sure. So thank you to city staff and for everyone involved, because it really did help make a huge difference. And we had a lot of cool local bands from Paris perform, so that's something that I really do appreciate. Also attended the Love for Life Association Awards, Student Awards. That was a really great event. It's a really great organization that really does help students and really recognize the parents and students. But I do want to close with, so it's going to be a short speech, Mayor, so don't worry. But I do want to do some final remarks for what has been going on recently. So as a council member, I do feel like it is my responsibility to speak up on what's going on with our country. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge the disturbing and heartbreaking events unfolding right now in LA and cities across the country. What we are witnessing, the treatment of peaceful protesters and involvement of ICE, LAPD, and even military force against communities is not just concerning, it is very, very alarming. And this is not about politics at all. This is about humanity. And we cannot ignore the fact that many of these actions being taken are very unjust, heavy-handed, and in many cases, very unconstitutional. And people are exercising their right to peacefully protest, and they are being met with violence and fear. And this is not who we should be. And I know all of you are very shocked or scared by what's going on, but please don't feel like you're alone in this. I, too, feel very passionately about what is happening, and this is not normal at all. And it is okay to feel that fear. But as long as we have empathy and stand united, we can get through this a little bit more. To those in our community watching all these events, I do encourage you to please stay informed as much as you can. Be safe and please support each other. If you or someone you know is in need of help, especially for undocumented individuals or mixed status families, please know that there are local resources like TODAC that are right there for you. And you please go to them, because I just talked to them last week and they are prepared. They have all the questions. They know where to get these resources. And remember, you have rights regardless of your immigration status. Research and share it with your neighbors. We must remember that immigrants are not just day laborers. They're our teachers, our doctors, our nurses, our business owners, caregivers, and they are the overall pillars of our communities. So their presence is not a threat, it is a strength. And what's happening right now is an attack on the very core of what we claim to stand as a country. My heart goes out to everyone affected, especially those who aren't getting the attention from the media. The silence hurts, and it's a reminder that we all have the responsibility to speak up so that we can do our part. And there are many ways to protest, but please do it peacefully. If we give into violence, we give into their trap. You control the story of resistance, not them. And let me leave you with this thing. History has its eyes on you. So let's be on the right side of history. Let's speak up, support our neighbors, and continue to fight for the justice and human dignity for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Corona?
Thank you, Mayor. For Rods and Rails, great event. I think our staff did a great job. I think it was probably my favorite Rods and Rails event. The weather was great. For the evening time was a great choice to have. With talking to the participants and to the families there, I think they were all pretty happy about it. And then I can't really follow up too much on that, but I do want to thank you for those comments. As being the only immigrant on the city council for at least the last few decades, I'm very proud to have council members who support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nava?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate that we will have some great programming thanks to our amazing city staff over the summer. So I look forward to participating and seeing all of our residents out in those community events. And I also just wanted to echo on my colleague's sentiments. Obviously, this is very near and dear to my heart, and I know living here in the city of Paris, you all know of one, many, or several undocumented people here in our very own community that make up the fabric of the city of Paris. And I just want to reiterate that I stand with my community, I see you, and I support you. And these times are definitely causing uproar, anxiety, and stress to our families. And anything that goes against breaking up families should be alarming to all of us, and just serve as a reminder that hate and this type of breaking up of families will never, ever serve our community well. So again, I stand with my community, and if there's anything I could be of service, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Vargas. I'd like to echo the sentiments of my colleagues regarding the Rods and Rails event. It was a great event. Putting it in the evening was probably one of the best decisions. I think people were a lot more relaxed and enjoyed it a lot more. This past Sunday, I had the opportunity to visit the new Starbucks on Ramona Expressway. It was actually really good. It had a throwback vibe. It was like as if they brought back the couches, the lounge area. They really wanted to invite people to spend their time at the Starbucks location. So if you get a chance, please check out the new Starbucks. Just want to, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by what's happening in the news. We should all look out after each other and provide empathy toward each other and just pray for each other during this trying time. I'd like to wish my colleagues, Mayor Vargas, along with Councilman Corona, and all of our management staff who are fathers, a happy Father's Day. They're coming up on that. Want to also wish everyone a happy Juneteenth, celebrating the 150 years of emancipation this year, 150 years of Juneteenth. I just want to congratulate all the graduates, and just want to reiterate that everyone just be looking out for each other, be safe. We're entering the summer season. Slow down when you're driving these streets. There's going to be a lot of kids out, a lot of people using the summertime to really get out and exercise. So please, please, please slow down, take a few extra seconds at the stop signs and stop lights, and be very cognizant of individuals, pets, and just people out and about in the streets this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll try to cut it short. I, along with Councilwoman Vallejo, we went to Paris Union High School District. They had a Jabay FAFSA Challenge recognition event. Basically, it's was for the aging out foster youth children. They were awarded the Small District Award for the most FAFSA applications submitted. So kudos to Paris Union High School District. Paris Elementary School District had a Pico de Mayo event. I was there along with Superintendent Bivens and our staff from Public Services, Department Director Sabrina Chavez, Manager Crystal Lopez, Emmanuel Marquez, their supervisor. That was a lot of chips and salsa visiting 8 schools, but it was a good challenge, and I appreciate Superintendent Bivens for bringing that on with his district. And then we did have the Clarence Muse Art Festival this past week, or 2 weekends ago, or whenever it was. But, the sad part was I spoke with Katie Keys, and I think they were left off where they're trying to raise the money to have a Hollywood star of fame for Clarence Muse. And I think when this ever started way back in the day, it was $5,000. The current price is now, it jumped from 35, I think, to 75, and now she's just telling me it's up to 85,000 now. So as they keep getting closer to earning that, raising those funds, the bar just keeps going higher and higher. Oh, there's Katie now. I'm sorry. So it went from 75 to 85 or 80? 85? 85, $10,000, so it's really sad, but we're still working on it. And again, with everything about the immigrants and stuff, yeah, everybody has a right to protest. All I ask is you do it legally and properly. We've had some really good, quiet rallies here in the past, since I've been mayor. But then it does get out of hand, but it's not necessarily our own residents. It's folks that come from other cities that come to try to rally up. Again, it is your right, but do it the right way. All right, with that, next is our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. The city is excited to host its third annual 4th of July fireworks celebration on Thursday, July 3rd at Morgan Park. The festivities begin at 5 p.m. There will be a live band, and it's a tribute band to Bruno Mars, known as Uptown Funk. And the night will wrap up with a drone show and a fireworks show. That concludes my report.
Awesome, thank you. Better and better every year. All right, this brings us to our adjournment. I thank everybody for coming out, hanging out. We did not too bad, 9:15. But tonight, we are adjourning in memory of Gavino Vasquez, the father of our Public Works Manager, Lizette Hernandez, who unfortunately passed away on May 6, 2025, only at the age of 72. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and happy Father's Day to me and everybody else.